Why did he make you so special? Why did he bless you? Think about it. I woke up this morning. Got a smile when I say that shit. I woke up this morning.
Cool. Well, we're live with Kathleen Giang.
What's up?
Well, we originally met at Maryville University when I was going to school there in St. Louis. And you're from Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
You said like 3 hours with traffic from LA.
With traffic, yeah, but it'd be an hour and a half without traffic, so not that far, but this is far enough that it'd be 3 hours of traffic.
It's crazy that traffic literally doubles it.
Oh yeah, it's like back bumper to. The people in St. Louis think traffic's bad. I'm like, have you sat in traffic for like in LA for like 3 hours? Because I've done that. So
Do you smack them like if I'm sitting here right now just complaining about traffic, you're just like
no, I just kind of give him like the look. I'm just like, okay, sure.
The eye roll.
Yeah, part of like the eye twitch, like the
okay. Respect.
Yeah.
So what would you say, you were kind of talking about LA and saying how like materialistic, how like judgmental it was before the podcast. What would you say, I guess, what are some just major differences that stuck out to you between like LA compared to St. Louis?
Oh man. Well, like I said, more materialistic, but it's also a lot more judgmental.
Out in LA.
Out in LA. Yeah. No, like people here, you go to class, sweatpants and sweatshirts, cool. No one gives a crap. Shit? Can I say shit?
Oh yeah, you can go.
Okay, no one gives a shit. But yeah, in LA, if you go to school in your sweatpants and your Vineyard Vines long sleeve, then you're going to be looked at. They're gonna be like, well, this person's from the South because the Vineyard Vines is like the brand for the South, and it's just like they're like, oh, it's meh. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm just like, okay, don't look at me like that. But I mean, other than that, I mean, when I came to St. Louis, the first thing I noticed, well, I only had nice clothes from California because I was from California. So I only had nice clothes, so I wore them to school, and people would be like, "Why are you overdressing?" And I'm like, I'm not overdressing. Like this is
just how I
dress. Yeah. So over the years, I've just downgraded my closet to just leggings and big sweatshirts, and it's fine. I'm fine. I don't have to dress nice ever, except for my meetings. And,
good for you.
Yeah.
So you probably love that.
I love it. I love the downgrading. It's really awesome. It's a lot cheaper to maintain.
A lot more genuine too.
Yeah.
Like the reaction of what happens out of that.
Right.
That's
like
cool.
It's unheard of if you go out in like California, in Southern California, without like at least like foundation and a little bit of eyeshadow and a little bit of contouring. Like that's like a normal like everyday look for them. But here it's kind of like, oh, you don't have any eyebrows right now. That's cool. Like you know.
I love that example.
Yeah, like no one cares.
That's
like
cool.
That.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I guess that's just something I took for granted. I mean, obviously there's still a little bit of judgment, so like that's the only like reference I really have. But I like that.
Right. And I think there's a lot of like, especially with gender here. I mean, like females to female, like no one cares. Female to female in LA, it's kind of like you gotta keep an eye out for everybody.
Do you like as a female? Do you feel more pressure to like dress well or dress up for guys or for girls more?
For girls.
Really?
Definitely for girls.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, well, I don't think I'm bisexual. I think I'm more of like if anybody is attracted to me, then like whatever. Like I don't really care. If I'm attracted to them, then that's cool. I don't really care. But like for girls, they're just a lot more judgmental. And like even the guys in LA are judgmental, but not as bad as the girls. The girls will like literally roast you. Like, I was in a friend group once that was just like that. They just roasted people all the time. And we'd have group messages, and I used to be a really mean girl. Don't tell anybody.
Were you in the movie? Are you Lindsay Lohan?
No,
that's
somebody did tell me that I was Katie Heron, the girl from Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, that's Lindsay Lohan's character, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't seen
with
it
the red hair.
Yeah, with the
main character?
Yeah, main character, yeah. Well, they were like, yeah, you used to be a really mean girl. I actually caught up with a girl at Disneyland like the other week, and
okay, sorry, I thought I wasn't recording.
Oh, you're fine. And she was like, yeah, you hung out with a lot of the mean girls, but you were more of like a Katie Heron. I swear to God, I'm like, okay, I had no idea they're being mean, but now that she brings it back up every now and again.
Guilty by association.
Yeah, and
you've always been a sweet person ever since I've known you, so.
I don't think I've ever been mean. I was just like hung out with them because they were nice to me, but I never saw like what they were doing was bad, and I don't know why. Like I mean, I had like a definition of like morality as I was growing up, but like it just never occurred to me that they were being mean. Like my friend Stephanie, the one who told me all this, she's like, yeah, Samantha said that I was like a big girl who just needed to lose some weight, and that she didn't want me to be on her team, and I was like, oh. I don't remember that. But that's just how people are. Like, that was in elementary school. Like,
right.
And, like, growing up, she's even more of a bitch, no offense. But, like, I'm just saying, like, it's just when you're growing up in Southern California and that's the kind of, like, environment you're surrounded with, it's just natural to always be roasting girls. Always.
It's probably the most insecure culture there can be.
Oh,
Like,
definitely.
If you're constantly judging everybody
Definitely.
and, like, there's just no way that doesn't create insecurity within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because then if you're gonna start projecting your judgments on your external world,
Right.
then you're gonna form that habitual. You're gonna form a habit out of that, and then you're gonna turn inward and start judging yourself
Right.
and start questioning yourself.
Right.
And I would love to get roasted by your friends.
Oh, no.
I'd just sit here. I'd be like, just. I'd sit here with my little cup of coffee.
Right. It's a strength test for you, yeah. No, I didn't even know they were mean. I had just, it just went over my head because it was just so ingrained in our culture, you know? And, like, I didn't even think about this until now, but, like, I guess I was kind of judgmental throughout college in the sense that I would be looking at somebody and I'd be like, oh my God, like, she doesn't have any eyebrows. Like, I used to be that person who was, like, judgmental.
I love this.
I don't know why the eyebrows keep coming up. I don't know why. It's just in my head right now. But then over time, people were like, well, not people, but
Well,
like,
I guess no eyebrows is better than one eyebrow, though.
yeah, you're right. Well, one eyebrow or like a monobrow.
Oh yeah, or a unibrow, is that what it's called?
A unibrow or whatever the hell.
Okay,
it's called.
yeah. Wait, sorry, I cut.
Sorry, no. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. Wait, what was I talking about?
Your friends, judgmental. You didn't realize you were judgmental.
Oh yeah, and then I had this epiphany in the middle of like a lunch by myself, and I was like, "Oh, that girl's not wearing nice shoes." Oh wait, why am I thinking about that? Like,
So you started to question
Yeah.
your own thoughts that would arise.
yeah, and I was like, okay, that's kind of mean. So you're going to rethink that, and so like I was creating like different loops in my head instead of the loop taking me to, oh my God, why does she look like that? It's turned into, oh my gosh, her hair is so great. And like a kind of more positive outlook. And it took a long time for me to get to that. You know?
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you, Kathleen.
Growing
That's awesome.
growing out of that very negative area is hard.
Well, you replaced like a judgment with a compliment. That you literally like rewired your brain
yeah.
with like introspective thinking
Yeah.
and questioning your own beliefs,
Yeah.
your own thoughts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard for me to come up with something mean about somebody. I'm more of like a, oh wow, their shoes are, I don't know why I keep going to shoes too. Their shoes are awesome. And like that's all I see. And like, I mean, unless you talk to me and they're an amazing person, I'm like, oh, that person's amazing. But you know, I don't let that, because when you block people out, when you're being really mean in your head, you're just ruining the chance of you having a conversation with that person, and it can be very interesting.
Right.
And
true.
you're just missing out on their entire perspective and their entire life on things, and that's you're losing life.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You're losing, yeah. You literally like rewired your habitual thinking. I love that
Yeah.
so much.
People
That's
need
so
to start
cool.
doing it. No, it changed. It is still changing my life. Like I'm writing everything out. Like my negative thoughts, I turn into good. Like, okay, well maybe I should stop thinking about this. Maybe I should focus on something else more important and relevant to my personal growth than just wallowing in this hole of self-pity. I need to be doing something else.
You kind of shifted how you spend your time too.
Yeah, I write a lot now. I'm a writer.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you just write do you write consistently like every day or
Yeah. I made it my
do you have like a quota you have to meet?
No, it's more of actually, well, it's like 2 pages of cursive writing, and it's just
Cursive.
yeah.
Ooh.
I love cursive. No, I just write whatever the hell I'm thinking, get it out on paper, all the negativity, all the bad stuff that I'm thinking about, all the stuff I'm stressed out about. It's all on paper,
Right.
And then I read it again.
And it's
again.
so good to like project your
Yeah.
thoughts onto that.
Right.
It's
and then
awesome.
you read it and you're like, okay, I should not be worrying about that. moving on. And so I write another page of like things I need to be working on, things I need to think about today, you know, just constantly changing yourself to be better is like what I'm trying to. I mean, I signed up for bar classes today.
Bar classes?
Yeah. Do you know what bar is?
No.
It's like, you know, like those ballet dancers with like the bar, like they like,
oh, no way?
Yeah.
So you're trying to stand on your toes.
No, not necessarily, but it's like workouts with those. So
Okay.
it's like you raise your arm up to some level. It's like yoga plus a little more action.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm trying to change my like outlook on working out to be a more fun experience versus like at the gym.
Something you dread
Yeah,
showing up
right.
to. Okay.
Yeah. So like, again, constantly changing myself to be better, like trying to fix my exercise habits, trying to fix my diet habits.
What's your motive in all this?
Honestly, there's no motive. It's just, there's no motive. I just really want to better myself. Like, that's literally
What,
it.
do you think the motive like derives? That's just your motive, like that in
Yeah,
itself.
that in
Like,
itself.
You just want to improve yourself.
Yeah.
I think that all starts with self-love.
I agree.
Just
Yeah.
loving yourself whenever you really can, like, just build like it sounds weird because it's yourself. It's
Right.
one person, but like build a love for yourself
Right.
and like almost like a relationship with yourself.
Right.
And then direct that love into like just growing yourself and being
Right.
the best version of you can possibly
Right.
be.
And I was actually writing about this. It's about self-love in my journal this morning. And I was reflecting on how, like, as children, we're never ever taught, at least I was never taught to be like, okay, now you get to take time for yourself because you should love yourself and respect yourself. No, it was always do that for your friend, do that for your teacher, do that for somebody else. And I never had time to myself. And so I never thought about it until like college, when I was like severely depressed. I was like going to therapy and all that. And they're like, you need to start working on yourself. I'm like, I don't know how. Like, I mean, I can't even eat. Like, I don't have the drive to do anything. And they're just like, you just need to love yourself. So I just found something I loved to do, and I just put my soul and my heart in it, writing. And so like I just loved myself through it. You know, it's like a process. It's never ending. It's a process of loving yourself. But people who fail to love themselves, man, they're missing out on a lot.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've been there before, or obviously you have, like,
Yeah.
where you haven't loved yourself as much.
No.
But it sounds like you didn't have a balance between being selfless and selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it sounds like you really established more of you were too selfless, which is, I admire that in itself, like, because that kind of shows who you are as a person.
Right.
Versus so many people are the exact opposite. They're so, like, indulged in narcissism, just... They're self-obsessed,
Right,
honestly.
right.
Only think of their own self-interest.
Right.
But you were the actual, like, on the opposite
Oh
end.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't know how, like, narcissists, good for them, because I don't know how I could look at myself in a selfie all day, you know, with this, I don't know, they just look so perfect.
Right.
Because they're always focusing on themselves, which isn't a bad thing, not by all means, no. But, like, just, like you said, balancing out the selfish and the selfless.
That's something you got to really focus on to find a balance.
Yeah.
Find that equilibrium point.
Yeah.
'Cause if anything, I've probably struggled with the selfish side. I've never been, like, super selfish, but yeah, you just be considerate of others.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Here, so I got a question for you, Kathleen.
Okay.
Actually, wait, I would like to, because you brought up Oxford before the podcast.
Oh, yeah, I did.
So can you tell me about your experience in Oxford?
Oh, yeah.
So you studied at the College of Oxford in England? That's like the most
Oxford
notorious,
University,
like
yeah.
the nicest college in... You're a genius.
What? No, thank you, man.
Good for you.
Oh, thank you. It wasn't like you had to take a test to get in. It wasn't like I was there for a semester. I was there for a month, but I took classes on race.
You were there for a month? I'm surprised you don't have a British accent.
Oh my God. No, they did make fun of me for my American accent. They're like, you look like you're from China. And I'm like, oh my God, please don't say that ever again.
Well, it does make sense. They probably don't have
They
nearly
don't.
as many.
Not
like,
as many.
Okay.
Yeah. They're more familiar with with Asians, at least they're more familiar with Indians because of like the whole British and the India.
Okay.
Yeah, no. But no, it was a good experience. I took a class called Race, Gender, and Policies in the UK versus the US. So we got to compare and contrast policies in the US and the UK regarding minorities. So minorities in America means like Muslims, Blacks, Asians, Hispanics, etc. In England, it means Muslims and not many Black people, more of like well, I guess black people. They're from like the Caribbean area because of and the
so not like African.
No, not not much African. There was an African diaspora back in the day, but anyways, and the Indians. So like Indian people and some Asians were minorities, but we studied Brexit. We studied how it impacted racism, and there were a lot more attacks on race related attacks in England because of Brexit. Because of the same thing happening in our country, the white supremacists like Trump, they were like, oh yeah, we want our country back. Like all these people need to go out of our country. That's what Brexit was. It was take the immigrants out, take the refugees out.
It was like preventing these lower class people from working their way up.
Yeah. And so it was very close. The election was close. I forgot who won, but obviously it was the white supremacist. And it was like 51-49, something like similar to ours. Yeah.
I knew it was really close. I didn't realize it was that close.
Yeah, it was really close. And not 3 months after Brexit, their like race related attacks like just exploded.
You went over there at a hot time.
Oh, I did.
Good for you.
Good thing I was in Oxford, but if I were like in a smaller town, smaller areas, or like in an alley somewhere, there was a risk of like me being like beat up and
just because of your ethnicity.
Just because of my ethnicity, and because they think that I'm here to take their job, even though I'm a student, and they don't know that. But like just by the way,
your American accent would help, like yo, chill.
Yeah,
chill.
Well, I think
I'm from America.
I think that would help, but they'd probably be like, oh, you're from America. Like no one really likes America out there.
Ooh.
Yeah, because there's this whole section in this bookstore I went to every day. It was called Blackwell's. Still my favorite bookstore. It's like 4 stories, and it's got like the philosophy section is like as big as this basement.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's huge, and it was like. Anyways, there's this whole section in politics, and it was like everything was like anti-America, like anti like Trump, anti like everything that America was standing for, and it was like, yeah. So this is our stance, and I was like. Okay.
Welcome.
Great. Yeah.
Welcome to our country. Fuck you.
Right. Exactly. And that's why the first thing they asked was, who did you vote for? Because they took politics so seriously in Oxford, and it affects your life. I mean, people don't realize how privileged they are here, but like most people don't really like people like you and I. Like we're like more privileged in the sense that we don't have to deal with like food stamps and like living because we have like a home, we have like all these things, so we don't really think about it. But these policies do affect people, and it affects a lot of people, especially in St. Louis. And so you have people in England who are going through the same thing, like the lower class communities who aren't able to like go up a higher class because of voter restrictions, same thing as us, and like just a bunch of BS basically, just because the richer people don't want people being rich like them. Wow. That's literally the issue here. Like that's it.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. That discrimination. And it's completely dependent on race.
Yeah, and it's fear. It's fear. It's all fear.
But like it's not affecting them. Like if they're on top, I don't understand that like prevention focus. Like it's gonna affect you and your kids. Like your kids are probably gonna be fine. You're probably gonna be fine.
Right.
Generations to come, if you have that much money, like.
That's where the media comes in. The media goes, oh my God, these people are dangerous. Get them out. And so you're like, oh my God, the media said that they're dangerous, so we need to vote them out. And, you know, it's just the media. Some media is good, some media is bad. Right now, it's not looking great. But I mean, what can you do?
What can you do? Really?
No, you can't.
I guess the best thing to do is inform the public.
Right, and to do your own research outside of like. You know, watching the same news every single day, you could, you know, like try to diversify, like.
Thank you.
Like what you're basing it. Like if you did like a paper, for example, you wouldn't use the same source for the entire essay. You would have to use like 12, 13 different sources, or your teacher turns it in.
Good point. Yeah.
Like you would never argue something with just one source. Like that's just like that's like amateur. That's like freshman in college status.
And ideally speaking, like you're gonna want to. See sources from like different points of view, like totally different perspectives. Like the Republican view, like you were saying earlier, you listened to that with left, right, and center podcast. Yeah, like you need to consider things from all points.
Yeah, of view. Definitely. No, like you're shutting yourself out from learning anything if you're just so focused on your point of view that you think that you're correct, and then you become a bigot, and then you turn into that person you hated. You know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid that, but like I know a lot of
You're learning from others' mistakes.
Yeah, my friends have fallen into that trap where they're literally the definition of liberal snowflake. Like, I hate that term, but it really applies to them because they just get offended about everything. I'm not even like what you should be offended about. It's more of like, oh my god, like he, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, why does it matter? Like, just focus on yourself and like how these policies are affecting people you may know, or like not just yourself. Like it's like, you know, it's just annoying. People
totally.
don't think. They just say what they've heard from one source and they're like, that source is right because I agree mostly with it. No, like you can't do that. You have to look at the facts, look at the statistics, you look at other sources.
Maybe it benefits you the most, but is it actually the best for the country?
Right.
Yeah, that's weird. And I guess just that independent thinking versus thinking for like the group
the
as a
herd
whole.
thinking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that drives me nuts.
Oh, you're referring to like groupthink?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's like everybody. No offense to Maryville, but that's like a lot of people at Maryville. That's
Really?
just if somebody, it's really with like cliques within cliques. But like if a clique doesn't think the same as another person in the group, they like alienate them. Because I used to be in a group like this. They alienate them and then they don't hang out with them ever again.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's just like, oh, you mentioned that gays are allowed to marry. We won't see you again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, okay.
Terminated.
Yeah, like, why does it matter what I think? Like, and I'm sorry, but if you don't think gays should marry, then, like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's an antiquated way to think.
Yeah, like, you're living in the 50s. Like, go back.
Yeah. It is what it is. People think what they think.
I know, and I'm just like, they're literally just people.
Yep.
Like, we're no different. Like, have you seen that one commercial? It was on Facebook, and it was like they were in New York City, and they had the stage, and it was like you can only see their skeleton, but they were like people making out behind like this thing, and you could only see their skeleton. They came out, and they were like gay couples and stuff like that, and it was like, oh my god, like we're all the same underneath. Like
what a cool message.
Yeah, it was super dope. I watched it like a couple times. I cried a couple times. It was great. It was just like, see, nothing matters. Like nothing. Like we were talking about, nothing matters. Like, why are you judging people?
Right.
You don't need to. Like, they're happy, so whatever. You know, they're not hurting you. I don't know.
You can't control it. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah,
it's gonna happen whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I know. And it's usually, well, no offense to religion, but it's usually their religion that prompts them to, like, oh my god, like, I can't believe that guy is marrying that guy. Like, only Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, you know? And I'm just
I was thinking that's a thing.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, but why does it matter? and they were like, they look at me and they're like, oh my god, you did not just say that. And I'm like, let's
question these cultural norms. Let's question these.
Right, and are you not strong enough in your faith that you can't defend your answer? Is that why you're like attacking me? Just a thought. And then when I say that, they were like, okay, I'm not talking to this person anymore. I'm like, okay, well, you lost. I won.
Yep. Let's look at this as objectively as we can, is with an open mind, and figure it out. We might end up disagreeing. I mean, but like, I don't know.
But I would like to hear why you think that way.
Totally.
Like there's it's interesting why people think like that. You know, like most of it's religion driven, but like the root of it, like there has to be a root to that. Like
hate.
I don't know if they know they're hating though. Prejudice. Like maybe they were raised with like societal norms to be prejudiced. I don't know.
Or like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, how can a man love another man?
Yeah.
How can a woman love another woman?
And then they start insulting you.
Yeah. That's just so unnatural.
Yeah.
Like, actually, it's kind of natural if you look at nature. I mean, animals are like genetically attracted to other animals for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't explain it.
Right.
But it happens. It happens.
Right.
It's a fact of life. It's a fact of nature.
Right.
So it is what it is.
And the argument that like God made man in his image or whatever, and I'm like, okay, well, if God made man in his image, then it should be normal for this to be a thing, because then you're just refuting your whole argument with the, like...
Wait, explain that one more time?
So, like, okay, so God made man in his image. Like, that's like a thing they say.
Okay.
And so, like, if a man is gay and he, like, isn't chosen, like, he doesn't, like, just, like, I'm going to be gay today. Like, if he's, like, just gay, then, I mean, what if God's gay? You know?
Maybe.
Like, I'm just saying, like, they're like, I know God. I'm like, no, you don't know God. Like, you don't know, nobody knows God. And who the fuck cares? Like, if God made somebody like this, then you should love them, like Jesus did.
Yeah, true.
Like, did fucking Jesus go around?
Oh, so you're using their same logic against them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
sorry, I should have said
No, you're
that.
totally cool.
Yeah.
You're totally cool.
Yeah, no. Like, yeah, like, especially when they're like, oh, yeah, kick the refugees out. I'm like, okay, well, A, my mom and dad were refugees from the Vietnam War, so don't say that in front of me. B, Jesus took them in. He didn't care what religion they were. He didn't care if they were like lepers or anything. He just took care of them, like, because they're human. Because like you should be a nice human to other humans, and they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, then you're not Christian. And they're like, but I am Christian. But these people gotta go. And I'm like, oh my god, like that's against like. You're missing the point here, Jeff. Like, I can't, like, I don't know. Those people frustrate me. I don't really know what else to say about that.
Well, here's a question for you.
Okay.
If you, this is actually completely relevant to what we were just talking about.
Good.
Or it can be. If you could imagine a hypothetical reality 100 years in the future, somewhat plausible, as plausible as, like, you can imagine, what would you imagine?
This is hard because of all the AI coming out right now.
Oh, true.
Oh my god.
Like the emergence of like technology is just going to be exponential. It's so hard to even wrap your mind around it, like to really fully comprehend and like imagine what is going to be the world.
Oh yeah.
Let's imagine 100 years from now without like any technological. Let's just say we plateau technologically.
Okay.
But like culturally, like any norms that like maybe like universally accepted.
I don't think. Okay, well, Jarrett and I, my boyfriend Jarrett and I, have this theory that one day humans are going to learn that mindfulness is the answer to everything.
I believe that as well. Like, I think there's actually a reference towards that called like the Golden Age or something like that. I don't know if that's necessarily what it is. I'm probably wrong, to be honest.
That sounds familiar. But we were talking about it. I got super stoned one day, and he was talking to me about like, you know, like a dystopian future. I'm like, I don't think it's going to be dystopian. I think it's going to be like people are going to get in touch with themselves and realize the only thing that's important is like, well, I mean, nothing is important, but you should be a kind person. Like the purpose, they're going to start to realize life isn't about being materialistic or judging people. They're going to realize that like you really don't need anything. And like mindfulness like makes you think
What
like,
do you mean by you don't need anything?
You really only need food. And like basically how the Buddhist monks are living, you know?
Like just basic human necessities.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll regress a little bit. Maybe technology won't even be much of a thing anymore because people will start to realize.
There's a possibility of that.
Yeah. I mean, like you said earlier before this podcast, capitalism, like they bank on people wanting things, right?
Right.
But if people start being mindful of their mind, of their being, of their ego, then they're like, oh, well, I don't need this iPhone.
True.
I'm going to get rid of it. And capitalism might come to an end. If you don't know, it's highly unlikely. But if everybody thought on the same plane of mindfulness, like everybody went into like meditation groups, like every single day, then it would be like peace.
It'd be a different world.
It'd be world peace. I'm just saying.
Undeniably so, yeah.
But the likelihood, like I said, because of different religions and stuff like that, they're against, like, I don't know, they're like Buddhism is, I guess, a religion, but more of a philosophy. But people see it as a religion. They're like, I'm Christian, so I'm not going to be a Buddhist. I'm like, well, you can be a Buddhist Christian. Like, there's stuff like that.
Totally.
But like, people don't understand that, and that's where the education system comes in, and it's shit right now. So.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more.
Yeah.
And that's coming from somebody who is 2 years out in school too.
Yes, I'm turning 20 in 2 days.
Turning 20 in 2 days and graduating from college in just a few
in just a
one semester.
Yeah, 5 months, 4 months.
Good for you, Kathleen. That's awesome.
I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
Moving to Seattle.
Yes.
Whenever you said that, actually, I am so pumped that I got you on this podcast. Like, and I plan to in the future, like whenever, because it's not like we're like gonna lose touch or anything.
Oh,
like
no,
that.
no.
That's what I love about technology.
Yeah, there you go.
But like I was like, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Like because this is like a not once in a lifetime, but like a once in I'm not gonna have this opportunity to like sit down and talk with you and have this conversation.
Not in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you fly into Seattle and hang out with us for a little bit.
Which I plan to.
Good.
I really do. That is a city I plan
great.
to visit.
I am excited to see you there.
I want to see the Northeast before I see the Northwest, but the Northeast is beautiful.
I'm trying to go everywhere.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful there. We're like huge nature. By we, I mean Jarrett and I. We're huge nature addicts. Like we like spend all our time outdoors, climbing and hiking and all that stuff. So. Yeah, we'll be out there a lot.
Doesn't it rain a lot in Seattle?
Yeah.
Probably hear that a lot.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. They're like, every time I mention Seattle, actually, it's somebody's like, oh, doesn't it rain in there? Doesn't it rain there? And I'm like, yeah, for like the 752nd time, yeah, it's fine. I don't mind the rain. It's peaceful. It helps me sleep at night, so.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get immune to it as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As far as like the sound, if that were to annoy you at all, but I find serenity.
How does anybody find rain annoying though? Like
true.
Like that's just the sound of it. It's just like.
What I find annoying about rain is the inconvenience of getting wet whenever I'm trying to stay dry. That sucks.
Well, that's the only thing about rain, though.
Class,
okay,
and just getting drenched on your way. It's like. I don't even want to sit in here. I'm all
maybe
you
need a raincoat. I don't know. Have you thought about investing in a raincoat?
Wow, that is a breakthrough thought. I actually haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you need to.
Or an umbrella. I think
there you go.
I have one. I do have one. I just always forget to bring it whenever it rains because it doesn't rain too frequently.
You should leave it in your car.
True.
I do that.
Or my backpack.
Or your backpack. Yeah. There you go.
There we go.
Rain isn't an inconvenience anymore. Yep. You solved the problem.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah, seriously.
My emotions. Nah.
Oh.
Honestly, though, like with that question, how do I see the world in 100 years? Like, I think podcasting is going to play a big role in that. And obviously, that's super biased coming from somebody like me, but I just think...
No, I can see that.
It's becoming a lot more popular, and I think it's going to inspire a global shift in consciousness. It's also really exciting because the biggest podcaster, I'm not positive about this, I know he's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, is Joe Rogan.
Oh,
and do you like him?
Yeah, I love him. He's great. Yeah, he's so cool.
He's literally changed my life.
Oh,
it's crazy to me how like a total stranger living over in LA, I just listened to his voice a few times, and it literally changed like the way I see the world.
Yeah.
Like my actions I take onto this world, like my philosophy on this life, like so much.
Right.
It's crazy.
No,
You could say I don't think he's the main reason. I think there are a lot of factors, but he definitely played into why I started jiu-jitsu, why I started, this podcast, and I don't know, but I think it's really cool to think that like he's not even the biggest one doing this yet, because I don't think this market is nearly as expanded as it's going to be. Like I think it's only going to keep growing. I don't think it's going to plateau. Like even in 20 years, I think it's going to keep growing.
Oh no, yeah. Like I want to say like junior year of high school, I was listening to one podcast. It was Welcome to Night Vale. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
It's just like a long drawn out plot, this long drawn out story about this weird, freaky town in the middle of I don't know where. But yeah, it's supposed to be really fucking weird. Okay. Like it's supposed to be like a kind of a metaphor to America and all just like this crazy shit happening in this town. Right. And I'd listen to it every week and I'd be like, oh, I wish more of this. Like I didn't have time to read at the time, so I was kind of like, oh, drive in the car and I'd listen to it, you know?
Totally.
And it's such a good use of your time. The car, just to go off on a limb here, like you're driving for 20 minutes, so why not just listen to somebody talk? Anyways, I was like, when I was in high school, I was like, I wish more of these came out. And like I got Spotify in college for like $5 because you get like your student discount or whatever. And I was like, oh my god, like there's so many podcasts. And I have to say, every month I like discover a new one and I listen to it for a while. And my boyfriend and I are huge fans of the one with Dan Harris. It's called like 100% Happy or
10% Happy.
10% Happy. I don't know what it's called.
Is that in reference to meditation?
Yeah, it's in reference to meditation, but it's Dan Harris. He's an anchor on Good Morning America.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he has his own podcast, and it's really good. It makes you think, and he has a bunch of guest speakers. I'm just like, man, like I was thinking the same thing. Podcasting is going to,
I think it's going to blow up.
Keep growing. Yeah, if not blow up, then keep growing. Because, I mean, like we were talking about earlier, perspectives, so important. And, like, the more you hear it, the more you keep wanting to listen to
Totally.
it. You know?
Once you figure out the beauty of it, like, it's addicting.
Right.
It's really addicting. I think a lot of these younger kids, I was kind of thinking of this theory earlier, and I think a lot of these younger kids, right? So they're obsessed with these internet personalities, like Jake Paul, Logan Paul. And I'm trying to bash on them. Like these two are taking over the internet. I have nothing but respect for those two, but they're kind of like Justin Bieber was a few years back, like really ignorant, doing some ignorant shit. I think they'll grow up. I really do. Who knows? They might be into podcasting too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a great way to.
I mean, I can see that.
Follow them.
Yeah,
I think they will in a few years. But anyway. I think a lot of kids are going to kind of start, like, as they grow older, get more mature, they're going to kind of start seeing through the bullshit of, like, people like that. They're still going to love YouTubers, obviously. Oh, yeah. But I think I think podcasters, from my experience, in my opinion, I think they're a lot more authentic because you have to expose so much of yourself. Like, you can't really fake a conversation.
No.
You know what I mean?
Like, you can't just keep asking how the weather's like.
Exactly.
Like, oh, yeah, it stopped raining.
Like, I inevitably have to kind of reveal, like, what my personality is to, like, everybody watching right now.
Right, yeah.
Whether I want to or not. Like, it's just, I have to be the most real, authentic version of myself, whether I want to or not.
You're not really thinking how you're talking, you know? Like, you're thinking it, but it's not like, okay, now you're going to be very sassy. It's more of like, okay, you're just going to be whoever you're going to be.
Totally.
You're like, and people are listening to you. So you can't really, like, pause it and be like, okay, gotta sound really, really smart, and then go. Like, it's you know.
And I don't know. As long as I keep investing in myself and improving myself, maybe I will sound smart, but who cares if I don't?
Right. Like, who cares? Like, just be yourself. And that's what I like about podcasting.
Sure.
I think it's awesome that you're doing this, actually.
Totally.
When I heard that you were doing this, I was like, oh my god! Like, now I can have another podcast to listen to. Hey.
I gotta get on the podcast app, but anyway, back to you.
Sorry.
No, you're cool. You're totally cool. But it's also probably cool because I met you when I was getting into YouTube videos.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Was it like unusual? It
was rarely serious.
Really serious TV. What happened to that?
So I originally did that whole semester. I made a video every single week.
Oh, okay.
So I don't remember how many. I made like 15 or something like that. But I was spending like 10 hours a week on these videos. Like that's whenever I wasn't doing homework at school or like hanging out with you guys or whatever. Like I would pretty much just be working on those videos, right? And that I realized I'm like, this is not practical. Like, it actually fucked up my GPA a little bit. That's I didn't do the greatest. Could have done better if I focused more on this.
Right.
But anyway, I just realized I'm like, this isn't practical. Like, I just don't have the time to be doing this. But like, this is just an hour, 2-hour conversation. I'm already doing this regardless. Like, might as well record it and try to just enjoy it, you know?
Yeah, and like, conversations are fun.
They're fun.
Yeah.
They're so fun. And like different people, like I get to learn about like you moving to Seattle, you over in Oxford, and all your opinions on things. And, like I had my buddy on last night, or it was yesterday. And, like it's cool how people can like heighten your state. It's like every person's like a drug to you.
Right. Yeah, I feel that. You know I mean, I would consider myself an introvert. Like I've taken the Myers-Briggs test like a zillion times, and I keep getting INTJ.
So that's introvert, intuition,
thinking, and judgment.
Okay. I think I'm ENTJ actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did like a year ago, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I think so I'm an INTJ. So I'm like introverted, but like if I'm around people, I'll like talk to them. And like, this is who I am. Like,
antisocial extrovert, maybe?
Antisocial. I'm more of like an extroverted introvert.
Okay.
Yeah. Like it takes energy out of me, but it's like fine if I like the people. But if I don't like the people, then it's just like draining.
Just close up.
Yeah, and I just go home.
That's fair.
But like with you and like my friends, it's just like, oh, it's fine.
That is actually surprising, like for me to hear that you're an introvert, because you like to talk, and we've always had good conversations.
Oh yeah. No, I love talking. It just depends on the person, and like. If it's like 5 people talking, or maybe like 10 people talking, then I would get drained. But if it was just
close up,
no, it's more of like there's too much energy going on right now. Unless everybody's an introvert in the room, then it's fine. But if there's a bunch of extroverts in the room and they're just like going off about some makeup brand they found, it's just not interesting anymore, and I just close up and I just don't talk anymore.
Well, that makes sense, because you're not necessarily like interested in those topics.
Yeah, and no offense to extroverts, but they just talk about a lot of things. Sorry, no, like more things. Just my friends, maybe it's just my friends, but like they just talk about like way too many things, like not important things, just like kind of like
There's a quote. It's something along the lines of like, I don't remember what it was. Like below average minds talk about people. average minds talk about events, and above average minds talk about ideas.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so I guess they're just talking about things that aren't intellectually stimulating to you, because you're not a surface level person. That's one of my favorite things about you. Like,
Thank you.
You're higher. You should.
I try not to engage in those. Maybe my friends are below. No offense to my friends, but like, I don't know. Maybe it's not an extrovert thing. Maybe it's just an intelligence thing. But
it might be.
Yeah.
It really might be. Like on a non-conceited level, you're a deeper person.
Yeah.
That's what. You're not a surface level.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're complaining about superficial people. What do superficial people talk about typically?
I don't.
People.
No. Yeah. Probably
things,
gossip.
like
something I don't really care about. Yeah. So. Interesting.
Fair enough. Oh, I was curious what you think about this. Why are humans so obsessed with mass murderers?
Okay, so actually, Jared and I are watching this show called Mindhunter.
Mindhunter.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. And it takes place in, like, 50s through 70s. I'm not really sure. But it's when, like, the psychology of murders started, like, becoming a thing. Like, back then it was more of, like, she died because her husband was mad, so he killed her. At first it was, like, a romantic lust, like, thing.
Okay.
But, like, between the 50s and the 70s, or 80s, I don't even know, like just like 50 years ago, they were like, you know what, I don't think that this is the motive. Like, I think it's something else. And then they started interviewing these murderers, and they start to realize that, they don't feel remorse when they kill. They don't think about it before they kill. They just do it, and it's like part of the personality. And now, looking back on that show, it makes me realize that, like, people. Well, the thing is, that's not normal, because we're fascinated with the unnatural, you know.
True.
And that's just something that doesn't happen. You know, you don't just stab somebody just because you felt like it. You know.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Okay, who is this Jordan that I'm talking to? Yeah, no, like you don't act like that. Like, that's just not you, you know?
Right.
And so people hear about things like the shootings and all that and serial killers. It's kind of fascinating because it's like, what went in their minds before they committed the act?
That's the question that needs to be asked.
Right. But, like, that question itself is a fascination. It's like, that's not normal. That's weird. What's going on? It's like aliens, you know, how like people are like, oh, aliens are weird. They're not normal. We should learn more about this.
Right.
The same way. I think it's because we haven't fully understood murderers. And we'll never be able to fully understand murderers and their motives and stuff like that. But, like, again, like, that's where the interest comes in. Because, like, you know, we don't know anything about aliens and we're still going after information like that. And it's just things we don't know. Like, you and I were talking about things we don't know, and we keep talking about it, and
right.
it's just fascinating. You can't stop talking about it. I don't know. It's
the unknown.
Yeah, it's a very human thing. Like, no other animals ever, you know. No dog. Your dog isn't going to be like, oh, she smells unusual, so I'm going to bark at her, but then I'm going to ignore her for the rest of the day because that doesn't really matter to me. For us, it's like, okay, they think differently. They're just not, they're like off, like they're so we're gonna pay more attention to them.
That is interesting that they don't show emotions as much. It just doesn't register to them. That's crazy.
Yeah,
because that's pretty much what classifies, like, the difference between a psychopath and a normal individual is that they just don't show emotions, right?
Yeah, or a sociopath is, I took this class, I was supposed to pay attention in it. I didn't. I mean, I did, but it's been like sophomore. It was called Sex Murders or whatever, and it was like,
sounds like rap. Just listen to Kendrick Lamar.
Sex, murder, money. No, no, it was a class with my favorite professor on campus. But there's a difference between sociopath and psychopath. Sociopath is, I might be wrong on this, so don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure a sociopath is somebody who isn't able to express, like, emotions, feel emotions, but they're
incapable of it.
They're incapable, but they're able to adapt. So, like, if somebody else is like, oh, I'm so sad, they'll be like, oh, what's wrong? And they'll, like, actually, like, adapt to that emotion, but not actually feel it. They'll just show it.
But I don't know if this is a good comparison, but, like, for example, I had a buddy in high school who claims, I believe him, he could not smell. He could not smell it. He just didn't have that sense. So,
Okay.
So as you could imagine, he showed up a lot, he eventually learned from this, but he would show up and just smell like ass.
Yeah.
He would just smell terrible.
Right.
So it's kind of this, and you could imagine, like, if you couldn't smell, you probably wouldn't think about hygiene nearly as much.
No.
So is it kind of the same idea, like they just don't think about it because it doesn't register to them?
There's something lacking in their like nervous system in their brain, but they can't. They literally cannot. Like, it's because of something that's happened to them as a child, or they grew up with it. But like, it's just they just adapt. That's literally all they do. Like, it's just in response to your response.
Right.
Like, it's not like
They learn that you have these emotions
Right.
that they can't fully understand, but they're still somewhat empathetic.
Yeah.
Okay.
But empathetic to the surface level of empathetic. Like,
Right,
they're
right.
not able to empathize, but they understand what empathy is, so they can like mimic it.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't feel it.
No, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
bizarre.
I know. That's what I mean. There's a whole book. There was some Barnes & Noble the other day. There's a whole book like, "Are you a sociopath?" And I'm like,
I hope not.
like, I don't want to read that book. But I mean, yeah. I mean, there's more sociopaths out there than you may know.
I believe it.
Like, I mean, not all of them are bad. Not all, but there's a lot of sociopaths, and not all of them are bad. It's just the ones that have been impacted in a negative way, just released their emotions out negatively, obviously. So it's just, that's how they react.
Okay.
But I mean, I know a pretty cool sociopath. I mean, it's not like, I mean, they're along for the ride mostly, but they're not like mean or anything. It's not a bad person. It's just the way they're able to express emotion. That's just what it is.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. It kind of sucks though that we classify them as sociopaths, because like that negative connotation whenever you said it. I have a friend that's a sociopath. That's immediately would register in my mind. So
Yeah, I know.
That's funny to me.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, that's where it goes to. But
It's what it is.
yeah,
Well, how should we measure the How should we measure the productivity of society?
I've asked myself this question a lot. I don't even know if there's. I mean, okay, so like over the ages, over the years that humans have been alive, there's been like timelines, right? Of like, so this is the golden age. This is the Reformation. This is the Industrial Revolution, and so like every time period or so, there's something that's accomplished. And recently, I read this read this article on Time. Don't quote me on this. Time or something, a prominent magazine, and they said that scientists have actually labeled this time period as like basically that humans are ruining the Earth.
Really?
Yeah, like it was something very.
Like the 1950s and on, or
Yeah, it was like it wasn't industrial, but it's a negative impact.
Wow.
And that like from 2000 and where are we now? 2018 and on, we need to do a better job like making up for those things that we've done in the past. So looking back at it, I mean, we haven't really done much. We've only discovered religion, fought wars, made some new technology, but like.
What are you referring, like 1950 to?
Oh, I'm referring to like the whole like timeline of humans, like of human existence. So we made like these tools, right?
Right.
And we started thinking, and we're like, oh yeah, that moon that goes around us, and we don't revolve. And the sun doesn't revolve around us. So like that's cool. That was growth. And then you hit like the Reformation, which is like when the church was constantly reforming, and like you have all these different religions stemming out of Christianity, so that was cool for the religion part of things. And then you had the Industrial Revolution, which was like awesome until people realized that they were destroying the earth, and that was like and then back down, because it was like, oh, you're helping us, but you're not helping the planet that we live on.
Right.
And then the people didn't know about the climate changes until like the 1900s, and they're like, oh shit, like we gotta fix this. But if some people are still in that make everything mentality. So they're like, no, we need to keep building. We need to keep doing this. And we're at this point in history right now where we have these millennials, which is like age 18 to 35 right now. We're like the working class right now. Like we're working. And you have the Gen Zs who are like the high schoolers, like new college people.
Okay.
And it's up to us and them to try to like fix
the older generation's
problems. Yeah.
Just like the debt too. That's a whole
Talk
other
about
topic,
that,
though.
yeah. No, but I mean, like progression-wise, I think we did pretty good. But there's a quote by Yvon Chouinard. He's a
I
creator.
like the name, Yvon Chouinard.
Yeah, he created Patagonia. And, you know the brand Patagonia?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they do all...
Yeah, you're
Yeah, I
wearing
am
it.
wearing it. Yeah, I'm repping Patagonia.
Oh.
He's all about sustainability, all about protecting the earth because, you know, we've done so much of destroying it. And he said, what is progress? If you are moving to the edge of a cliff and you step forward or you turn around and you step backward?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
So, like, if you were at the edge of a cliff...
Uh-huh.
and you stepped forward, which would be considered progress, you would just fall off the cliff and die.
Right.
But progress in the sense of being near a cliff, you would turn around and move one step back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So he's saying that we need to revert back to before, like, we were like just all this gas and all this carbon dioxide in the air.
Okay.
And we need to move back and live like how we did before releasing all these dangerous toxins in the air.
Okay.
And be more sustainable. And so that's progress to me. That's just stepping back and being mindful of what we're doing and like being careful of like how much, you know, we don't think about it, but you drive places and it just consumes so much energy and like there's so many people out on the roads and then when we hear about China we're like, oh my god, that's disgusting, like there's pollution in the air, but like America's damn close.
Yeah, we're pretty bad as well.
Yeah, like we're really...
I mean, it might be China and India, but we might be a close third.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, like, what
No, like,
pollution
it's
is,
just disgusting. Like, in LA, you can see, like, the pollution line. Like, it's disgusting. And it
Well,
affects...
apparently LA had, like, smog before that. Like, it was kind of like a hazy...
The smog came from, like, the industries. Like, it came from the... I mean, there's, like...
The smog, but, like, isn't there, like...
There's, like, a mist that comes
a
in.
dusty... Is it dusty at all?
Not
like
Delhi, I know now.
Okay.
It's like black, like it's gray, like you know it's pollution because it's black, and
Wow.
it's not like it's not rain. It's just this huge fucking thing.
That was the one thing whenever I went to LA that I really noticed. Like,
Yeah,
like
you
going
can smell,
up
like-
in the Hollywood Hills and looking down
Yeah.
on the city. It's like, what the fuck? Like that's all just pollution, just collecting there, just over time.
Right. And so, like Chouinard said, like we need to take a step back and look at what we're doing, and then progress from there. Because I mean, AI is cool. I have a Google Home. It's really cool. But like, if it
That's considered AI.
yeah,
Really?
it
Okay.
learns from you. So
Is it really?
yeah. So like,
Wow.
so like progression, I guess, is relative. If you are a super right-wing conservative, like all the way to the right, you believe progress is, you know, like free market, all that stuff, cool stuff, great stuff. But if you're like, you know, liberal, you would think that progression is social movements, like human rights, all that stuff. It really depends
Right.
on the subject of progression. But for me, progression is like environmentally related because without the earth we're all dead, you know.
True,
like
true.
it's the only thing we live on. We can't live on Mars yet because they haven't really found anything to live on. So right now all we have is the earth. And like if we just keep, you know, releasing all these like dangerous toxins into the air, like things are going to die. Bees are endangered, and bees like are the thing that's pollinating like everything we eat.
Yeah,
So
this
like
is cool by Einstein. Like, kill the bees. Like, we're done.
oh
in, like,
yeah,
a very short
oh
amount of
heck
time.
yeah. So
Scary.
I mean, free market, social movements, great, but without the earth, we wouldn't even have those things.
Right.
So
And apparently that's like the most uniting thing. Like for example, you were talking about Thanksgiving before the podcast, how you were arguing. There were like a clash of,
Right.
I guess, diversity of opinions
Yeah.
and politics.
Yeah.
But apparently the most uniting thing, whenever you like, if you were to go to like Thanksgiving or I don't know wherever, and you want to kind of like unite, the bees are like the one topic that everybody's like in together.
Yeah.
Like we're into this together. We're gonna figure this out. This
Right.
bee problem. That's it. Because don't they not even know? Like, they have no idea what's killing the bees. That's what my buddy told me. So my source is just a friend of mine.
well, I have no idea either, but I mean, just regardless, bees or not, like just in general, the earth is like in desperate need of protection. Like I just watched this documentary on the Arctic, And it was like, this guy took zillion is not a number, but just a shit ton of pictures in just time frames. And it showed like just the ice melting. And it's sad because the polar bears live on that. And they're all like dying because there's nowhere for them to go because all the ice has melted. And it's just, well, when the ice melts, that's where all the water comes from. That's where we get all our rain and snow and all that. It comes like from the...
It's gonna fuck up the ecosystem. Absolutely.
Yeah. We might even, like, I mean, the ice age came from like that. Like, just like, the ice age came back because of like a heat thing that happened, you know? So it's like a balancing act.
And that's what we really don't want is global cooling. Everybody's talking about global warming, but no, global cooling would fuck us up a lot more.
Yeah.
That's a lot more scary.
Right, and so we don't want global warming to be, like, extreme. We want it to be as minimal as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people just don't understand the differences between global warming and climate change.
But have you ever seen the picture of the Earth, what it would look like if every ice cap was melted?
No, I have not seen that.
It's fucking scary. It is fucking scary.
I mean, the water is 70% of, what, 60? How much is the water? 70% of the Earth?
I wouldn't know.
Okay. I knew that fact sometime.
Mass or, like, surface area?
Like, surface area.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean...
Well, it's a considerable amount more. Like here in St. Louis, in the middle of the Midwest, like, the ocean would be very fucking gross.
Yeah.
It's like Florida's fucked. Florida's fucked. Anywhere in the southeast, fucked.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, I mean, the whole progress thing, like, maybe nature is our way of, checking progression. Like, if things are dying around us, maybe we need to just not do the things that are making that happen and go the other way.
No, totally.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's a matter of maybe. I think it's like, we just need to really reconsider.
Right.
Totally.
And the whole thing with the mindfulness thing, again, like, I don't know about you, but when you're meditating, I, like, feel, like, connected with nature, you know? Like, I'm just, like, I'm one.
Yeah, I feel like one with everything.
Right.
It's a bizarre feeling.
Right. And so, like...
Beautiful feeling.
Yeah, so with that feeling, you're just like, okay, so this is important to me. Like, we need to protect this. That's the main feeling I get. I'm like, oh my God, I am the guardian of this earth and I need to protect it. So, I mean, again, mindfulness, that's how the world's going to be saved. But the likelihood of that?
I'm excited. I'm so optimistic. I mean, I'm an optimistic person, but I'm actually, like, as much that could go wrong with the future, I'm excited. Like, I really do think a global shift in consciousness is going to happen in our life.
For sure.
I think, I don't know, anybody older watching this right now might think, like, this is very ignorant of this 22-year-old kid, but I think our generation, I don't know why, it's like an intuitive feeling. I've always felt this, but I feel like our generation is going to save the world. Like, you know, I don't even know what that means. I really don't. Like, I swear to God, I just had, like, an epiphany one day, and this is going to sound really out there, but, like, I was like, our generation's going to save the world. And like I said, I don't know what that fucking means, but I really
message from the universe.
Convinced. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to, like, rationally think it out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. I don't know. That's just genuinely what I believe. I just don't. It's so open to interpretation what that could mean, what the result of that could mean, but I don't know. I think there's going to be a global shift in consciousness.
Oh, definitely. It's already happening. Like, even like with the whole podcast movement, like you said, like, that's encouraging the shift of perspective in different ways.
Totally.
So,
like, nothing against my parents. Like, they didn't have the same opportunities, but they have more experience. Obviously, they have a lot more life experience. They have a lot more experience of the real world. Like, I'm very naive in a lot of aspects in that regard. But as far as, like, just random facts off the top of the brain and like even just a philosophy on life, like anything, like, just. I'm a lot more well-rounded, a lot more informed, especially than my parents are. That's common in our generation. Weird. Yeah, it's really weird. The consciousness inequality between, like, the gap between just 20 years of life, or, I mean, my parents are like 30 years older than me, but it's insane. Like, but more so, speak of it, like, objectively, like, comparing us now, so, like, 20 years old to our parents at 20 years old. There's no fucking way, because just simply stated because they didn't have the same opportunities that they knew as much as I know at that age. I mean, they didn't have Google, they didn't have YouTube, and I'm not even saying just me, but, like, everybody, they didn't have any of it. Yeah. I don't know, it's crazy. And, like, just to think of, like, our children, like, this stuff they'll be able to access, you know? They'll be looking at us in the exact same. I hope they look at me that way. Yeah, I hope they know more than I do. Totally. I hope they learn faster than I did and better and more.
You know?
They will.
Good.
It's yeah. But so if you could alter a part of your personality, what would you change and why?
Alter a part of my personality. No, I don't really feel like I need to change anything about my personality. I think I'm good.
That's right. I thought I'd ask that question, but whenever I was writing the question down, I had the same exact answer. That's almost like a form of self-actualization, and like, I don't know, if you are to change something, like you have the ability to, and like you said earlier, like you have been changing yourself.
I'm constantly changing myself. So it's like, I mean, they're not negative things, they're just things to help me get to where I want to be.
Small adjustments, slight improvements.
Right. Yeah.
Good for you. That's I was just really curious about like your take on that, but I'm really that's a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Good.
Love yourself. Love yourself.
Yeah, love yourself. Self-love.
Self-love.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. It's like a judge. Force it in.
Fuck yeah.
Would you give up true love for $10 million?
No.
Really?
No. Jarrett's like my best friend. Like, and he is worth more than $10 million. He's like so many experiences in one person, you know? And like the thing I said about perspective, he also has a wide range of perspectives that is just like, you can't put money to that. Like, it's just the stuff he says, like if you knew who he was, oh my God, you need to meet him. But
I'll have you guys both on.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be so much fun.
Yeah, when you're in Seattle, just hit
Yes.
No, the stuff he says, and it's just, I mean, like, I think he's the one. So, you know, like, I'm just like, yep, he's gonna ask me to marry him, and like, probably a few years from now, I'm cool with that. I'm totally chill with this one. But like, no, $10 million, there's no number you could give it. There's no amount of money you could put on this person. But maybe if I were somebody who was like negative and more like pessimistic on the love side, then I'd be like, yeah, $10 million. But
so all you're seeing is the dollar sign at that point.
Yeah. But for him,
that.
Yeah, but for him, it's just like he's worth more than $10 million.
I like that because I feel like if I would have asked $100 million, you would have said the same thing. That the money doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And good for you. I'm very happy for him.
Thank you.
I wish you guys the best in Seattle. I really do. I cannot be more genuine.
Dude, I can't wait to have you over.
Yes.
Like I'm so pumped to have my friends over and show them Seattle, and
I'm interested. I'm really interested in that part of the. You'll be close to Yellowstone.
Yellow,
you're
yeah.
Fucked. I mean,
I'm closer to all the national parks, so
true.
Yay me! Try to make more trips out to Yosemite. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been out there.
Oh my God, you need to.
Really?
It's so beautiful. It's just untouched nature, and it's just like you're in it, and it's just nothing matters. Nothing matters. Except the chance of being run over by a car, but nothing matters because there's bears, but like if you're just standing there staring at Half Dome, it's just like that's so big, and you are
Half Dome.
Half Dome. It's like a little mountain that's rounded at the top, so it's like a half dome.
Okay.
And so like you're just looking up at it, and you're just like, holy fuck! Like I'm so little. I'm nothing. That's just amazing. And
It's the best part about nature.
Yeah, it is so humbling, and it makes you think, like, what are the important things? Why am I here? Like, am I really this small? Am I an experiment that some aliens are doing on me? I don't know. Makes you think about stuff like that.
I love your open-mindedness, by the way. I love that. But yeah. Wait, have you ever been to Yellowstone before?
No, that's on my list.
Okay, I've heard that's incredible.
Okay, all of them are incredible.
True. And then the Big Sur, you've been there.
I've been to Big Sur, yeah.
That's just like a big view, like a pretty much just a massive cliff.
Yeah.
Drop off towards the ocean.
It's beautiful though.
Like Northern California. More San Fran area.
A little bit south of San Fran, but San Fran area, like NorCal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Very cool.
It's beautiful. You need to go out there. And it smells like it's amazing. Like I cannot describe to you the smell. Like it's just trees and just like the brisk wind on your face and just like
ocean air
and like wind, like fresh wind. And it just goes to it's better than a car freshener. Like it's like
it's better than a car freshener.
Like,
no.
Yeah, like the fucking like it's the trees, man, like the pines. Holy shit, it smells like Christmas times 200. Plus like flower. Oh my God, I can go on and on.
You know those like pine scented car freshener, right? No, like these pine trees, they smell better, I swear.
Yeah. No, you need to go out there.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like the smell, that's really, because most people, whenever they talk about like any nature spot they go to, they usually describe the visual experience, but like,
oh man,
the smell, that's awesome.
The smell really gets to you. You're just like sniffing, like you just end up like you breathe so deeply, and like that makes you breathe slower, and then you just relax, and it's just
I feel like I would love to just sit up there and just meditate.
We did that. It was amazing.
Really?
You need to do that. You need to go up there.
Oh, that'd be an experience.
Yeah.
If I go there, I'm spending like a day.
We spent like a few days, 3 days.
Really?
Yeah.
What else is there to do besides just the view?
There's little walks along the beach, and then we just camp. We like camping.
Oh, very cool.
It's just chill, yeah.
The Big Sur, so it's BIG, big, and then Sur, SUR. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know it was a thing until whenever, I was telling you earlier, whenever I visited Isaiah's mom in Southern California, she was like, excuse me, but she was, because we got, long story short, me and my Australian buddy, when we were in LA, we ended up finding a ride on Craigslist, he found them, of these gypsy strippers that were going from LA up to San Francisco, but she told us on our way up there to stop at the Big Sur, but obviously, well, we went up at like the middle of the night, like we got there like 4 a.m.
Right.
And with no place to stay. That was
good.
Slept in the hotel lobby.
Love it.
It sucked. But anyway, so it was pretty cool. It was worth it. But anyway, I wanted to stop there, but didn't have the opportunity because like our ride was in total sovereignty of where we were going. So
Well, whenever you get to actually like stay for a day and not like have any other obligations, just definitely like take it all in. Totally. It does not feel like you're in America or any. It doesn't even feel like you're on Earth. It just feels so heavenly, and like I can't even explain it. Like this does not do them justice. I'm just rambling at this point because there's no description how beautiful it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense that you can't explain it. Like you can't explain a smell.
No, you can't. You'd have to smell it yourself. Smell those pine trees yourself. Better than car freshener.
Yes, yeah. Better than car freshener. That was the selling point.
Oh, good. Good.
Well, I'm actually out of topics, but like, how much time do you have? You have to be.
Oh, I have to be there now, but it's fine. I can text. I can call him. It's fine. He does this to me a lot. He keeps me waiting, so I'm gonna keep him waiting once.
Oh wow! I have an indoor soccer game tonight.
Oh, cool.
That happened to me last night too. I got done with the podcast and I was like, "Oh shit! I have a game in 2 hours." Like, stop off the top. But anyway, yeah. So I have no question here. Oh, this is a question I've been asking everybody. So, would the world be a better or worse place if everyone was the same ethnicity?
By ethnicity, do you mean like race, like races and like?
Let's say like broadly speaking, everybody's Brazilian.
Okay.
Regardless of.
The world would be much better.
You think so?
Yeah.
Would it be less interesting?
No, I think that people would start seeing. Well, I mean, the main thing about race here, actually, I think there still would be problems, but they'd be socioeconomic problems. Right now, race problems are linked with socioeconomic problems, which is why there's like systemic racism and stuff like that happening in our country specifically, mainly, because slavery happened. They weren't really allowed to like go up the totem pole like the American dream is supposed to have everybody do. But if it was just everybody was Brazilian. And I don't know, maybe they were like Brazilian slaves and they were like raised in that country for a while. There would still be problems, but they'd be socioeconomic problems, not necessarily race.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe religious problems as well?
Well, it depends on the reigning religion at the time. No offense to Christianity, but it's pretty violent in the last how many years was Christian? They just conquer everybody, you know? But like, if you had a Buddhist like monk as your religious leader, I mean, all he'd say was just be a good person and just don't force anybody into anything. Just let them find out for themselves.
Right, you know? Right. Have you gotten into like Buddhist philosophy?
Oh yeah,
That's what everybody seems to be getting into, and like, I just happen to get into it like myself as well.
You should read the Dalai Lama's books. Like they're
He has his
good.
books himself?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They're pretty good. They're pretty they're so happy and peaceful and mind opening. And you're just like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. I don't know why we're all fighting. Why are we fighting, guys? Like this should not be a thing. But yeah, it's very. It gives people peace. It gives me peace.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So like these books, you've read them, I'm assuming?
I've read a little bit of it, yeah.
Okay, so it has it kind of changed or shifted your perspective on the world?
No, it's more of made me think on how I'm thinking.
Okay.
Like the whole change your mindset kind of thing. It's more of like, why are you thinking like this? You should be more like the Dalai Lama and be more peaceful with the way you're handling things. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like nothing against Christianity. It just seems like Buddhism's closer to the truth.
Yeah, that's how I feel. No offense to Christianity. Like, if you want to believe in Christianity, that's cool. But for me, Buddhism is just it started out it's older than Christianity. Mm-hmm. It's way older than Christianity, and it's proven to mean. I mean, there are violent Buddhists, which I don't know why that's a thing. But the whole philosophy itself. Just the premise of it is just to be peaceful.
Are they necessarily the right, are they great examples of the religion, though? Or the philosophy of life? Like those violent Buddhists? Because that's not exactly what Buddhism represents.
There's always extreme groups. There's
True.
The Muslim extremists, there's the Christian extreme, the KKK. You have those Buddhist extremists, too. And it's just because they're so Buddhist that they think that their Buddhism is the correct way to go, and it's just the whole I'm the righter one and you're not, so we're gonna conquer you.
Consider other points of view.
Yeah,
it seems like a lot of these problems we're talking about all go back to the same a lack of empathy of other humans, and for what they believe and what they stand for.
Yeah.
Just consider their side of the story.
I mean, that's what the real Buddha taught. He just he was just you do you, but I'm going to. And if you want to learn from me, you can,
right.
And I'll teach you, but I'm not going to force you into doing something that you don't want to do. It's all you yourself have to help yourself before I can help you.
True. It's like the expression, you can walk a horse to the water, but you can't force him to drink or something. Yeah.
That's the whole Buddhist thing. It's just you work on yourself first, and then then we can all hang out together and chill.
Right.
Yeah.
And it seems like Buddhism, there's a more, because you're a very you like science a lot,
mm-hmm.
right? Like Buddhism, because you were originally a bio major,
mm-hmm.
if I'm not, okay. It seems like Buddhism, there's a stronger correlation of science with Buddhism than there is with science and Christianity.
It's because of the whole creationism argument,
Right.
And the book literally says, the Bible literally says, in the beginning, God created Earth. I mean, if that's not the first sentence or something, I don't even know what it is. It's the very beginning of the
that
book.
literally goes against the generally accepted principle of astronomy right now, is that the creation of this everything was the Big Bang.
But with Buddhism, they're more of a reincarnation-based religion.
Oh, really? I thought that was Hinduism. For sure.
It's both. They believe in karmic,
karmic debt.
Yeah, kind of. So if you're reincarnated into a bug, that means you did something shitty last life and you need to make up for it.
Right.
So if you're a human now, you did something really well last life that made you able to speak how you want to speak and feel these emotions. And
shout out last life.
Yeah, shout out to whatever the hell I did. But it's with just treating people with respect, and it's not necessarily embracing science, but it's not against science either.
Yeah,
it's more of okay, this is how nature is. Just let it be.
Well, a lot of parts of Buddhist philosophy have been explained by science. Science is just now starting to figure out what Buddhism and other philosophies of the world have been preaching for thousands of years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Eastern thinking might have... Oh, Jared's calling me.
Oh. Yeah, you want to... Yeah, you can tell... I'm not going to tell you nothing.
Okay. Hey, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Are you close? Or...
We are about to wrap up our conversation.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know where to go. You're kicked out. So if you can hurry up,
Go to Hug. It's 24 hours.
Okay. So we'll end up there. We're gonna try to talk tomorrow.
God, I'm sorry.
Just call me whenever you get close. So you how far away from school are you?
Just 15 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Sorry. I love you. Bye.
He sounds super laid back. I like the way.
Yeah. He doesn't. It's not like he's more of like a if it happens, it happens kind of guy. Like he's not gonna let it bother him.
Right.
He never gets mad. We never get mad at each other. It's just like okay, it happened. So
that's a Buddhist philosophy in itself, right?
Yeah.
Just accept what it is.
Just accept it. Yeah.
But you were saying something I don't remember what you were saying.
I don't remember what I was talking about either.
Hinduism or
I don't remember.
But here's some. I actually brought this up in the last podcast as well. But this is absolutely insane to me. So I didn't realize this till recent years, not recent years, but more so. I was kind of reminded of it in recent years. But whenever I went to a private school, right? It was a Lutheran school, which is a branch off of Christianity, because like Martin Luther King split from
Martin Luther King. You mean Martin Luther?
What? Oh,
it's just
yeah.
Martin Luther.
Yeah, you're right. Martin Luther King Jr. Spitting bullshit. That's why we have the laptop. And you, man. Okay. I need guests like you that are going to call me on my bullshit. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, yeah, Martin Luther split off in the 1500s or something. That's probably wrong too. I don't know. He split off from Catholicism, so anyway, Lutheran is like a form of Christianity, or a branch off of it, and I was not taught science growing up from 1st to 6th grade until I transferred to a public school. I was shunned from science. I guess they just decided that it wasn't applicable.
I feel that. I was
taught religion though.
Yeah, no, for sure. I went to a Christian school from K through 6, a non-denominational private school 7 through 8, and then a Catholic high school from 9 to 12.
Can you say that one more time?
I went to a Christian elementary school, so K through 6, a non-denominational private school, so 7 through 8, and Catholic high school 9 to 12, all girls.
Okay, so pretty much you had religion shoved in your throat besides 7th and 8th grade.
But we were taught science. We were taught basic science, like physics, and actually, I don't even remember learning about any science in elementary school. Now that you bring it up,
really,
I remember learning about it in 9th grade. Yeah, like in high school. Yeah,
it's bizarre.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's weird that. And it obviously comes down to the individual school. This is not. We're not talking about all Christian schools.
No.
But I'm assuming if that's happening at your school and the school I went to, how many kids aren't learning science?
I don't know. It's weird. It's like this whole movement against science. I don't know. There's this article by the New York Times that came out the other day, and it was anti-intellectuals, a movement. And it's basically these people who refuse to learn anything new because they think that it's our liberal agenda trying to sway them from the truth, which is God for them. But then you have Trump, who's fake news, this, don't listen to anybody but me.
Right.
It brought a rise to anti-intellectualism, where it's okay, now you're not going to learn any of this because that's their agenda.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, even though our agenda, well, not my agenda, but the liberal agenda is generally progressive. I don't see it going backwards. If anything, the tax plan is a throwback to trickle-down Reaganomics, but there's no reason why you should censor learning.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Education is what is the basis of a society. You had Rome, they're pretty smart. Greeks, they're pretty smart. And then they had this tyrant that brought it down, but their knowledge kept their culture alive. We have their ancient texts, we have their ancient stuff that they've learned, and that stayed true till now. But if you look at America's history, it's what did we have to give for education? If we were to just be obliterated right now, if America was to be completely bombed,
and all that's left of us is just our whatever, our scripts, or I guess it'd be internet now.
Yeah,
it'd be more digitalized.
Okay, well, yeah. What if the internet somehow all the servers were completely just everything was robbed by the Russians? Say that happened. Okay. Then what would they find? They would just find there are a bunch of smart people out there, but they'd also find a lot of dumb things, people saying that the intellectuals are stupid and that they should be ignored. Right. What does that say as a country? For us, is that how we want other people to see us? Do we want to be stupid? I don't know why people are kind of shunning education and putting it at the bottom of the tier of importance. because like our education system's shitty. Like you just said this, education is shitty here, and like you have Betsy DeVos, who's the Secretary of Education right now, who doesn't know what she's doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I have heard about her. I've heard some really negative feedback about her.
Yeah, she's never taught. She's not a teacher. She's not a teacher. She doesn't know anything about education. She only was related to somebody who worked at a private school.
Okay.
So like that's like her only relation with education.
You said she was related to them?
Yeah.
So she hasn't actually worked in a school or anything like that?
No.
Well, what has she done like prior to gaining this job?
Her husband's fucking rich. That's it.
Well, I'm sure she has more credit.
I have no idea. I mean, I looked her up and there's like nothing on her. Even on Wikipedia, it was just basic. Like went to high school, went to college, went to.
Really?
Yeah.
That does seem like a necessity of criteria to be met. Like that.
You
before
think?
You become like I feel like if you're going to be the board of education, you should probably consider a teaching job or something to do with education before getting that job.
You think?
That's bizarre.
Yeah, so it just goes to show, like, what America, well, I guess what the government views education as. I mean, the tax bill that just recently was voted, it doesn't allow teachers to write off school supplies from the tax. So they have to be taxed on school supplies.
Right.
Which sucks, because teachers have to buy everything for their students. And if you don't really want to be a teacher, then you're not going to really do it. You're going to put you're going to half-ass it and just get them the bare minimum. And I'm just like, that's our children. Like, they're learning from you guys. If you're not going to put any effort into it, then like, what's the point of school?
Right.
You know? So it's depressing. But I think it'll get better. Hopefully. Someone's going to,
Optimist.
someone's got to take her place or something. I don't know. Public schools suck, man.
She seems to be one of the biggest complaints. Her and what's that dude that just did the marijuana law like federally? I didn't even understand.
What's his name? Jeff Sessions. Yeah.
Jinx.
You owe me a soda?
Yeah.
What? I don't drink soda. What are you talking about?
No, you don't drink soda?
I really don't drink soda.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
When did you give that up?
Years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't touched it.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's just disgusting.
That's how. Yeah, my mom didn't let me drink it growing up. So like, I'm the same way. Like, if I even have a sip of that shit, like it's just.
It makes me like burpy and like it's just too much carbonation.
I always would like burp and like it would like sting my nose.
Yeah, same. Because it would hurt. It would hurt really bad. Yeah. And
Totally.
I feel that.
Were you allowed to drink soda growing up?
No.
Really?
I mean, I wasn't allowed to do anything growing up, to be real here. Yeah, no.
Well, like, how many sodas do you think you've had in your entire life?
Maybe like 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's less than me even. Because I'm probably at the most 50. At the most. Like
that's not bad.
I got into a phase in high school, like whenever I first started drinking, like freshman year of high school, I would mix soda with the alcohol, and that was pretty much the only time I would drink. And it was never first choice either. It's just like it's typically what's accessible, or what's available.
Yeah.
I've never met anybody who's drank less soda than me.
Yeah.
Wow, I gotta shake your hand.
No,
yeah,
thank you.
there we go. That's super cool.
Yep.
Wait, but it was because your parents kind of shunned you from that.
Yeah.
Didn't allow you to drink soda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess it was for the best anyways. I don't want to be addicted to soda.
Sounds like they had good intentions though.
Yeah. They tried.
Did they not allow you to eat a lot of unhealthy foods?
Yeah.
As well?
No chips, no whatever. It's an Eastern thing. Like, it's very whatever you put into your body, it's gonna affect you, which is true. But they literally think about it all the time. So it's like, oh my god, you're eating that. That's so bad for you. You're gonna have such a hard shit later. Like, literally. Literally. It's like,
it sounds like a unhealthy, like obsessive type of way.
Yeah, that's how they are. You know, like the Eastern cultures, because it's, again, it has to do with like the chakras and like balancing your body. And so like the whole like herbal medicine comes from that, because you don't have enough of this, so you take this.
Right.
And so like if you put too much of that stuff in it, it's going to come out really bad. So, it's just, I don't know. It's a different kind of culture than medicine in the West.
Were they first generation over to America? Mm-hmm. When did they move? Or like what age?
So the Vietnam War happened. So my mom and my dad, they came separately.
Okay.
My mom was like teens, like 13, 12. I don't know. My dad was a little bit older. I don't know how old he was. Excuse me. But Yeah, they learned English and everything here, and I'm like the first like born American, so yeah.
Is that kind of cool having that perspective?
Yeah, but it's also hard because like they don't understand what college is like. They don't understand like how everybody else in America is like, so they like still act like it's Vietnam.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I can wear a skirt if I want. Like, I don't know why you're telling me not to wear a skirt.
Right.
Like, it's, yeah.
That's kind of hard that you have to jump through all these hoops just to kind of fit in, and you gotta jump through these hoops to fit in as it is.
Yeah.
You grew up with parents that were already adapted to this culture.
Yep. That was like my entire childhood.
Really?
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, it's hard. It's not easy.
How difficult that'd be.
Oh yeah, honestly, I think the only reason why I turned out so like open-minded about like not being like a regular SoCal person is just because I'm a first generation like born American, and so like everybody there is just like used to that kind of culture. But for me, it was like my mom would yell at me if I ever said something bad to her. Like if I ever argued with her, even she'd be like, "That's disrespectful," and I'd be like, "Okay." Right. So I would just be quiet and just listen all the time. I'd just be listening. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it did make you a better listener?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm a good listener.
Good for you.
I mean, what do you say?
I would say so.
Okay.
I would say so. I think we've done a really good job with like letting like we're having a conversation like versus some people in life. I don't know. I just feel like you're just kind of exchanging rants and like they're too quick to jump the gun and like just spit out what they have to say, and they'll interrupt you. They're not listening. Like that's the worst. Whenever you're engaged in a conversation with somebody that's not fully attentive to what you're saying, and then like anything that comes out of your mouth just seems completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
And then you're just like, okay, then why the hell did I speak for so long? Then?
Exactly.
You weren't even listening in the first place.
Totally. And it shows.
It really does.
And it really is a skill, because I will say, like, no joke, I was the worst listener growing up. Like, I had, like, a really weird form of ADHD where, like, I don't know, it was really bizarre. You can ask some of my, like, old friends, but, like, I would zone out mid-conversation more than anyone you met, like, ever. I don't know how I even overcame it, to be honest. Like, this was literally, like, 5-6 years ago, and I'd be, like sitting here talking and having a conversation with you right now, just... swear to God, all the time.
That's so weird, dude.
Just lose my train of thought. It was I didn't understand, but yeah, somehow I don't know how I.
The mindfulness thing, maybe.
Possibly.
More aware of what you're saying and how you're gonna stay on topic.
And I've made it more of a point to listen as recently, so I've gotten better in recent months. But like, as far as that goes, I don't know. Like the good that came out of that though is, as you could imagine, like when you were having a conversation, you suddenly that people are going to make fun of you a little bit. So what I really like learned is that I just didn't give a shit what anybody had to think.
Right.
And I really developed, I don't know if this derives from this, but I totally had this reputation in high school where I just had a fucking mentality. Like, I didn't give a fuck about anything. I still am this way, but like on an empathetic of other people type way.
Right, like you're more aware of other people that surround you.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like before I was kind of rude and inconsiderate at times because I had this, but like now I'm seeing more of like the good sides of like I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks kind of deal. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I have a friend who can learn from you. He's a disruptive speaker. He's listens to you for 3 seconds and then has something to say immediately. Right. And then you're not even finished making your point yet. And you're just like, dude, I wasn't finished. Let me finish my point. And he'll be like, blah, 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 blah. And he just talks over you. I'm just like, oh, wait, stop.
And I'm sure everybody is.
But he's a good guy. He's just literally just like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He probably has good intentions too. He's excited. He's so overwhelmed, so excited.
Yeah.
To spit out his points to
definitely
give his perspective on the world.
Yeah, that's him.
So yeah, like you said, it's not that it makes him a bad person. It's just, do you think it's a little bit to do with maturity?
Yeah. Maybe like empathy too.
Okay.
Like
being considerate of other people.
Yeah, like an empathy, maturity. Because like, you have people who are like, don't give a shit, but I'm still gonna be nice to them. But then you have people like us who are like, do give a shit, still nice to them. And then you have him who's just like, I don't really give a shit what you're saying, but I kind of do. But I'm not going to be nice to you because I have something more important to say, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
That is what he's communicating to you when he interrupts you like that. He's pretty much communicating what I have to say is more important than you. Like I pity him because he hasn't understood the
No.
importance of silence, of listening.
No. Which is odd because he listens to a lot of music. Like, he'll sit there and just listen attentively to the music. But then when I'm talking, or when Jared's talking, it's like, oh my god, guys, like, that is so... And he just, like, goes on and on and on. I'm like, okay, Brady, you can...
You should just start just interrupting him constantly.
I have.
Really?
Yeah. But it doesn't work on him, because I don't think he sees his mistakes. I don't think he knows. I think he's aware. I think I'm going to bring it up to him one day. Maybe not now, but, like, he just graduated. So, like, maybe, like, if he can't find a job, I'll be like, you know, I think one of the reasons why you can't find a job is because you keep talking over people. He's going to be like, what did you say?
Before the interviewer's even done with the question, so what makes you qualified? Hey, yeah, I'm qualified because I'm the fucking shit.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Just too quick to jump the gun.
Yeah. He's a good guy. I love him. He's great. He just needs to work on his communications.
Well, I wish him the best with that.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Well, I'm down to wrap this up solely because I actually feel bad because your boyfriend's waiting right now.
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
All right, 5 more minutes?
I should probably go now.
Okay, cool. Well, do you have any send-offs?
Well, be good people. Treat the world nicely. Recycle. And don't drive more than you need to, and carpool.
There you go. So what do you think we should name this podcast? I haven't thought of a name yet.
I don't know. Just mindfulness and...
Yeah, I'm definitely... I usually put like 2-3 things, like just kind of describing like an overview of some topics we covered.
Okay.
And I would say mindfulness is... I'll write that down real quick.
Mindfulness. I don't know. Progress. Was that a big one? Human nature. Empathy. I don't know. What did we even talk about? We talked about so many things today.
I know we did. We did talk about empathy a lot. I'll write it down.
Okay. You can always rewatch it, right? And just...
Yeah, true.
Just summarize.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Man. It's
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kathleen.
You're welcome, dude.
Yes.
So good talking to you.
Yes, and I really do. I want to... Wait, when are you moving out to Seattle?
May.
Okay, like right after college.
Yeah, right. Literally right after school.
Wow. Like within
We're making a jump.
days or?
Probably weeks. We had to pack and all that, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, good for you. I'm so excited for you,
Me
and
too.
I really do wish you the best.
Thank
That's
you.
So cool.
Thank you.
You're gonna take on a new life. And
I know.
You're gonna kill it. You're gonna kill
Thank
it.
you.
And keep improving.
I'm trying.
And stay in touch.
Yeah, I mean, I have your number.
Totally.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, high five. There we go. Yes. Calling it quits.
Woo.
Thank you for watching. Deuces. Oh wait, the camera's actually off right now. I just realized that.
Oh.
I need to figure out this camera problem. It dies in pretty much every podcast.
Maybe you should be
halfway
charging
through.
it while you're...
I can't.
Oh, 'cause
it's like
it's
an
a
extra. Yeah,
battery.
it's like external battery that you have to extract, and you have to do each one. Like you can't do it simultaneously, unfortunately.
That sucks.
It is what
Maybe
it is.
you need to get like a camera that also charges while it...
I was thinking that if I do that, then I have 2 cameras and I can record. Like,
Or you can do
different-
like multiple cameras.
That would be
and make
cool.
different angles.
That's ideal, but that requires a lot more editing. So like, it's not practical for where I'm at.
That's true.
At this moment in time with
True.
this podcast.
True.
Cool. Well, she has a boyfriend she needs to go see. I'm not busy. I got nothing going on in my life. All right, cool. See you guys. Thank you for watching another episode of Jordan's Subjective Perspective, episode number 47. Appreciate your time. Deuces.